various European fishermen and traders had contact with indigenous people, and these European people had immunity to a number of ailments and diseases, but the native population obviously did not.
The waters are teeming with fish, the woods full of game, but where are the people? There is evidence of a settlement, but the inhabitants are gone.
A great loss, a great loss of population. Estimates range anywhere from 75% to 95% of the population was wiped out.
Jim, those of us who grew up in New England certainly were told in school about Thanksgiving, the Pilgrims, the cooperation that they received, the crucial cooperation they received from the indigenous people. We didn't probably get told about this story, about the plague that killed off so many indigenous peoples in the years before Thanksgiving. Why isn't this story better known?
Well, it does appear, in truncated form in some history books, but it wasn't, for whatever reason, part of the narrative, and it is hard to tell. But we ran into several people during the production of this documentary who told us that this was the first that they had heard of it, except obviously for the indigenous people who we interviewed, and they knew all too well about it.
How do you think history would have been different if the Pilgrims showed up and there was no plague and Patuxent was a strong and vibrant settlement?
I don't think they would have been welcomed. I think that the ship would have been likely turned away, and they would have been instructed to go find somewhere else to colonize.
Phil, when you're making a documentary, you need to have something visual. It's a visual medium. When you're telling a story that took place more than 400 years ago, there's almost nothing to work with. How did you guys tell this story in a compelling way?
Well, we knew that was going to be our primary challenge. We tried to tell the story through contemporary times, being able to be part of the community and trying to document the culture of the indigenous communities and tell the story that way.
What kind of response did you get when you actually sat down and talked to the people whose ancestors were affected by this? What do they have to say about it 4 centuries later?
I was struck by 4 centuries later, as you said, by how vital it is in their minds and how right up at the surface it is. I asked Paula Peters when we first heard about COVID, did she think of the Great Dying? And she basically, in so many words, said, absolutely, right away. So it's right there at the surface.
History has been really, really whitewashed and softened up, and there's a lot of misconceptions.
It's a testament to their resilience that these populations made it through and lasted and are still here.
This was a major undertaking for you guys. You spent months on this project. Phil, what do you hope viewers will take away?
I hope they take away a story that a lot of them missed. And as we approach, the Thanksgiving holiday, that this is a chapter of history that dovetails with that Thanksgiving story that a lot of us don't know about and should know about.
And Jim, let me ask you that same question. What do you hope viewers will take away from this?
On a very basic level, if it is something that they did not know about, there's nothing that makes me feel better as a storyteller than giving someone some new perspective or new information that they did not have earlier. And also, it does make me feel good to have these indigenous populations feel like their story is being heard.